All right, we're back.
We are joined for this last half hour, really important, by two folks who've worked real hard to bring a huge and important project to Uptown Kingston that desperately needs it. Joe Bonura Jr. and Brad Jordan, and you both are separate businessmen, but are together now a new business called
The Kingstonian.
There you
All
go.
right, perfect.
The Kingstonian is a project that is underway, a proposed project that is now underway in Uptown Kingston to create a boutique hotel, apartments, retail space, and parking. Did I get that right?
Yes, you did.
Thank you. That your separate businesses have combined to produce. Tell us what's
How it
going on
started.
and where you're at.
Yeah, and how it started. Just give us the genesis. maybe.
I can take that one.
Good.
Obviously, there's something happening in Uptown Kingston. And
Yeah.
there's
Little Brooklyn?
Yeah, yeah. And
New
the way
buzz.
this actually started was we were approached on the Herzog warehouse from a realtor, a real estate guy, and he wanted to buy the building. Like everyone else up there, was throwing big numbers around.
Yeah.
For one reason or another, the building wasn't for sale. And I say it's not for sale. Everything's for sale,
Yeah.
right, at the right price. But we still do use the building, but we use a very small portion of it now that we're not a wholesaler any longer. So we had developed a business relationship with Joe and his partners. It started at the old Orange County Country Club, which is now West Hills Golf Club. Then we got over to the Water Club, which was their development over next across from Shadows.
Mhm.
So really, he's my customer. We became a supplier to him.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah, and
It's great when that happens in
it is.
business,
Yeah,
isn't
yeah,
it?
yeah.
It really
and,
is.
We, one day, Jim Niles, who was one of my salesmen
Sure,
on the road,
Jim.
mentioned our warehouse and everything that was going on in Kingston. And, I regress a little bit. I assume your listeners are somewhat familiar with the Bonura family, but what I
Anybody
like
that's
about
been to Newburgh is.
yeah,
Right. Or Poughkeepsie.
We've
Yes,
eaten, we've
yeah.
eaten
Right.
there.
Anthony's Pier 9,
Probably
the whole,
fed you.
Yes,
the whole
exactly.
Newburgh waterfront.
Or married you, right, at Anthony's, yeah.
And what attracted us to them is we're in business 110 years, as you guys know. These guys, they're a local Hudson Valley area people.
Yeah.
They still own and operate everything they've ever developed, which is big.
That's significant,
Yeah,
yeah.
and
The
I think,
continuity is amazing.
and they get involved in the communities that they develop in. So anyway, long story short, he came up on a Saturday, toured my warehouse, loved it, and said at that point we were talking about doing a water club type project just on our side of the road.
Mhm.
Joe looks across the street at the old parking garage.
What used to be a parking
Yes,
garage
right.
and is now wasted space?
And
Yeah.
he basically said, "What's
A hole in the ground, yes it
Yeah,
is.
so what's going on over there?" And I said, "Well, geez, this city just put out, I think, the 4th RFQ, third mayor that's tried to push it, and I don't know the status of it. I really didn't." And I said, "But I can check." So I called Steve Noble the next Monday, and Steve said, "Well, we've actually issued it." Andrew Wright, the local architect, who had actually got it. It was really an RFQ. It wasn't a proposal. It was a request for qualifications that you could put a deal together. So you're charged with going out and finding a developer that could do this, or designing a project.
And
So-
the Bonura group came step
no,
forward.
so
Ah.
what happened was, we knew that was out, but Steve said, "Let's go take a look at the water club." So Jim Niles, myself, Steve went down, met with Joe and Patrick Page, who's another partner, Page family,
Page
Lumber,
Lumber.
and a lot of real estate in
Right.
Poughkeepsie, same type story, a lot of synergies again. So Steve loved it. Joe gave us a tour, it had a parking area, and he could pick up here at some point. But
Yeah,
Sure.
what interested you, Joe?
Yeah.
Tell me. Tell us.
So,
Tell the listener.
I knew Kingston was here, but I hadn't done business in the city of Kingston yet. What interested me, working with great people, number one. We really got to know the Herzog and the Jordan Herzog companies.
Herzog
Jordan
family of the
Right,
Jordans.
Exactly.
There was a Herzog back there somewhere.
Germany or
Yeah,
something
yeah.
started, right? And so working with great people, number one, and then the site really interested me when we walked around uptown.
Sure, it's
And
beautiful.
This was 2 years ago, a little
Yeah.
over 2 years ago. So things have even improved since
Since then, sure.
But 2 years ago, we could see the potential. And I've done a number of projects taking underutilized sites and turning them into something special. So where Shadows and the Grandview are located, that was a sewer treatment plant and a landfill.
And the Grandview's beautiful, and Shadows is beautiful.
So I have a history of taking stuff that doesn't
Underdeveloped.
underdeveloped,
Yeah.
underutilized, has potential, spending the time, effort, and money to do the hard work to make it something special when we're all done. And this project's not an easy project. There's a lot of moving parts. There's underground work that has to be done. Our geotechnical report described the soil, once you go 40 feet down, as the consistency of toothpaste. And which is one of the reasons why we have such issues with the parking structure that had to be knocked down earlier, and plus deferred maintenance. So Brad and I started thinking about how can we make this work, and we worked closely with the city, and we started drafting some plans and sketching out an idea of how we can bring more parking spaces for the public to use.
Desperately needed up there.
Desperately needed.
Which is what the RFQ was for.
Right.
Basically,
Right.
the city's charge was build a municipal garage at zero impact to the taxpayer.
Right.
Which
Wow.
is what this.
a big
which-
challenge.
That's asking a bit,
But,
huh?
so how did the city's $10 million award from the state factor into this? What was
Sure.
the synergies there?
So that's skipping ahead a little. I'm going to just
Okay.
step back and I'll
Go ahead.
explain. No, but it's a great question.
He's been jumping the shark all day.
Well,
All day long.
We have a half hour. This is 15 pounds of potato in a 10-pound
Yeah,
sack.
I'll try to do it in 2 minutes or less. So once we started sketching out everything, and we figured, okay, how are we going to pay for this garage? And parking garages are incredibly expensive, and they always
They're money losers.
Money
They're always money
losers.
losers. Yeah.
They make money in Manhattan.
Yeah.
Where you could charge.
Where you can get $50 for a half a day.
you can
Right,
get $50
right,
for
right.
half a day. Here we get $60 a month.
Yeah, right.
And
right.
so the parking garage we knew was going to cost a lot and lose when it's done. Costing a lot's one thing, but once you build it, if it loses money every day it's an operation, that's another challenge. So we have to build enough stuff on top of the parking garage in order to pay
Way to put it.
to build it and maintain it and operate it. Those are 3 different costs. You got to build it, maintain it, actually take care of it so it doesn't fall down, and then operate it. Day-to-day operational expenses, the ticket machine, the guy cleaning it,
Yeah. Lighting.
lighting, the
Yeah.
elevator contract,
Security.
the sprinkler system contract,
and lots.
cleaning it, lots of stuff. Okay, so anyway, we devised this project, and when we put everything together, what would fit, what would look right, what is appropriate to build in Uptown Kingston, we came up with a budget. And then there was a shortfall. We said, this just doesn't work without some grant money. So then we started looking at different grant opportunities. And one of the grant opportunities out there was a region-wide sweepstakes to win this DRI, Downtown Revitalization Initiative. That's the $10 million kind of sweepstakes that's awarded to one municipality within each region of the state each year. And so in order for Kingston to be successful, it needed to show the state that there was private developers willing to invest money to help the state see that, yes, this is a worthwhile place
Right.
to spend their $10 million.
We're creating jobs too.
So
Right,
what are the
yes.
criteria? Creating jobs, creating economic development, revitalizing an underutilized area. So our project was sort of the private piece of the DRI application that the city put in.
Perfect piece.
That's why the city got that grant.
Primarily. Right.
It's certainly a big help. I
Big
can't
part,
say
big
we're
part of it.
we are not the only reason it got it.
Of course,
but
but you are the big
Right.
driver in that.
Right.
You're the big driver in
The
that.
city of Kingston, I gotta say, is well put together, well run, great council, great administration, and that is a major reason why they won, or we all won collectively. But our project certainly helped.
The taxpayers of the city of Kingston won
That's right.
that grant, because
Yeah.
when this project is complete, it's going to make Kingston a better place to live. It's going to, unlike some other projects, this is going to be a tax positive.
Yes.
Yes, you got a grant, but that's a fraction of what you're both putting in to
Right.
create this.
The other
This
thing I would
involves
say
a
is,
lot of parts.
hopefully it's going to be done, it will be done in our lifetime. Many of the
Yeah.
projects that start in Kingston, they
Starve and
measure
die
by
before they're
decades
complete,
now,
yeah.
some of them. So
What is your timing for it?
So there's 2 timings to talk about. One is the approvals, and then the second will be construction. So approvals, we're hoping to be approved in this calendar year of
Oh, that's
2019.
wonderful.
If we're approved in calendar year 2019 and the interest rate environment stays how it is right now, which is still acceptable, then we can build this thing in 15 to 18 months.
Wow.
From the timeline of
Fantastic.
approvals. I have a track record of building things on time and under budget. The Water Club in Poughkeepsie, we built that project, 136 apartments on top of a parking garage of 108 spaces.
Wow, that's great.
We built that in 7 months.
Wow.
Wow.
Now that
Incredible.
site was a little bit easier to work on, there was a little more space,
Yeah.
it
Right,
had a
this is a little
toothpaste
confined.
underground.
Yeah.
So-
And Uptown Kingston around it.
Right,
Yeah,
and then
right.
Uptown Kingston around it, so
Yeah.
I think it's gonna take a little longer here, but not ridiculously long. So
That's
in
fantastic.
2 years from now, this building could be occupied.
And what, I'm sorry, I'm not going by what we talked about or
That's
the
okay.
sheet, but I'm curious, what are we going to have when it's done?
Sure. So we talked a little bit about parking. There'll be 420 car parking
Phenomenal.
structure.
Oh,
Of that, we're going to dedicate 1 car per apartment, so that's 130 cars or so. So that leaves about 290 spaces that will,
additional spaces to what's already there.
oh, well, right now there's
Uptown.
140 or so spaces there now.
Yeah.
And we're saying there's going to be about 290 spaces open to whoever to use.
New
So does that
spaces.
include the
No,
new?
total.
Yeah. Well, but new for Uptown Kingston. These are new spaces. You know, you can park on the street. There's a couple of city lots, but
Right.
you're adding to the available parking
Sure.
in Uptown Kingston.
Right now there's 144 there. We're building 420.
So the lots that are on North Front Street, the surface level parking,
Right.
that is included in the 140?
No.
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 Oh,
You're
those
talking
are,
about the
those are
ones
separate.
further- yeah, yeah.
Further down by,
No, this is.
Yep.
okay.
We're
this is
talking about just
in
that
in the
one,
whole.
21 North
whatever
Front
the heck.
Street in
Yeah.
the whole.
Yeah.
There's 140 spots there.
Wow.
That
Was
will,
that many?
that will change, obviously, and that will become a 420
Right.
car
Right.
That's
garage.
fantastic.
And that's where we started. The city, the numbers, the city, Dan, as Joe spoke, the mayor, Kevin Bryant, Dan Baker, the city assessor, we've been working with these guys like
Yeah.
2 years. And
It's a great partnership.
it is, and the numbers that they put together, Dan's, if the city were to build this themselves, it would be $1,060,000 a year cost to the taxpayers for 25 years. They would, if they built it and bonded, that shows you the cost of,
Yeah.
and that doesn't include their maintenance costs and their
And that's
operating
just the
costs.
garage.
That's the garage.
just the
That's
garage.
That's
And,
amazing.
and what's
Right.
left there is, Joe alluded to before, the existing foundation is still there. When they
you're
cut that
kidding.
garage down, they
And
just.
Montgomery
Is that
Ward's is still
below
there,
the
too, below
toothpaste?
grade.
Yeah.
No, above the
Yeah.
toothpaste,
Oh,
on
above-
blacktop.
Mixed in with that, so there's a lot of challenges with,
Oh,
and
boy.
really what makes ours work as opposed to some of the previous proposals, obviously there's a lot of issues up there with historic, you know, the visibility. By having the mass going across into our property, this is not gonna go any higher than the existing roof line of my warehouse right now.
Which was a huge issue the
Which was
last
huge
time
with the
somebody
Tyson
proposed
Road.
something.
Right.
Right.
Which,
Sure,
right.
by having, that's the only way you can get that, because you have to have the apartments to help cover the
Absolutely.
exorbitant cost of the
Right.
parking garage. You can get that with the height by using our property and the city property. So
Right.
that's where it's.
So it's a
Sure, so
public-private
a lot of
partnership.
Yeah.
In many senses, it absolutely has been a public and private partnership. In terms of actual dollars, you know, we're putting in our money.
Yes.
to
Our
build this.
personal
A
guarantee.
lot of money,
Yeah,
a
right.
lot of money. It was in the paper. I mean, we're not saying anything that isn't public knowledge. It's a
And we're borrowing money with personal guarantees. There's a
Right,
lot of
right.
risk.
And that wouldn't
Yeah,
happen without
absolutely.
two very successful business families like yours, willing to risk that to
Combining.
come in and do it. And
Sure.
as a taxpayer here and a business owner, thank you.
A lot of people are very visual. Is there a website that people can go to after the show so that, you know, they can say, oh, okay, this is what it looks like, this is what it
Yes.
feels like? Can you guys talk about that?
Sure, KingstonianNY.com is our
Easy.
website.
Yep.
Just Kingston.
Google the Kingstonian and
That's
you'll
right.
find it.
You'll
Kingstonian.
find it. But I didn't get to finish answering your question about what
Please.
we're building. So we talked about parking, 420 spaces. We're gonna be building approximately 129 apartments. We're gonna be building approximately 8,000 square feet of ground floor commercial space.
Beautiful.
We're gonna be building a 32-room, or I should say rebuilding a 32-room hotel. Brad's warehouse building used to be the Kingstonian Hotel.
Yeah.
How
And that's
cool.
on the website, because I saw it.
Yeah,
It looks
right.
really cool.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So we're
Really cool.
rebuilding that building to look like it did in the early
Yeah,
1900s.
that's
Nice.
amazing.
So when you talk about the before and after, what you could have and what you have now,
Right.
it's a pretty stunning contrast in terms of, you know, Brad can keep operating the warehouse. If this
Yeah.
project doesn't happen,
Sure.
the hole in the ground can stay,
Well-
the warehouse can stay.
And we could or we could go back to our original plan, which is putting apartments on our side of the street.
That's
Sure,
right.
and not,
Right.
Which
But it
is-
doesn't solve the parking problem.
Yeah.
right.
So we're
Right,
trying to
exactly.
solve the
And
parking
it's truly a problem.
It
It's
is.
truly a problem in Kingston.
Well, and the partnership and including our property, think about how we do, the biggest issues during construction is, all right, what do we do with the parking spaces
Yeah.
that are there? Well, we got Kingston Plaza right there next to it.
Mhm.
What do we do with where do the construction workers park? You know,
Kingston Plaza.
Kingston Plaza.
Yeah, you
We have
got
areas of the plaza where we can
Staging space.
and
yeah.
shuttle bus some of the,
Right.
because a lot of people that work uptown do use Kingston Plaza parking now. I think everybody's aware of that.
Right,
Yeah,
They don't
sure.
want that,
But at
so-
some point, if Brad decides to continue to expand the plaza, then he won't be able to give away that parking for
Sure.
free to the people that are parking there and walking uptown, which is just gonna make the parking situation even
Even
tighter.
worse.
Right.
It's a win-win-win for the city of
Yeah,
Kingston
exactly.
all the way around. I gotta ask this question, are you keeping the brick?
Yes.
Are you keeping the warehouse is that
Oh, no,
beautiful
no, no.
old brick building?
Oh,
Actually, the warehouse originally was a wood
Was it?
Ah.
shipment. Yeah, take a look at the
We-
picture.
Oh,
That's
beautiful.
what it was.
Or
And that's-
go on the website.
Go on the
too.
website, you can see.
On
Yeah.
the interweb, yeah.
So the first, really the first meeting
That's
we
what,
had,
that's what it used to look like.
after we
Fantastic.
met with the city officials and got an understanding, and then of course we met with Andrew. We left that part of it.
Yeah.
So we ended up having to transfer Andrew's RFQ back to us, which that's the separate agreement between ourselves and Andrew Wright. So we purchased the RFQ from him, which actually brought our team in and became the development team. But as you go, the pedestrian plaza,
And we didn't get to talk about that.
which
yet.
is
Yeah.
key. So we meet with Friends of Historic Kingston. That was after we all right, let's go to the
Right,
stakeholders that have been around for a long time and have an interest in this uptown Kingston area. And so, great meeting. We met with them twice now.
Mhm.
And they're all
yeah, and
gung ho.
and that's an area that they see as a spot that they could start their tours in. I mean, this is going to be in a
Perfect.
gathering area for people uptown for festivals or.
It'll become the new square
Yeah.
at the
Yeah.
heart
Yes,
of
the
uptown
new
Kingston.
town square.
What's the
New
little
town
road
square.
called that goes from Schwenk
Fair
up?
Street Extension.
Okay, so
Which
that
used to
will
be a
remain,
one-way street.
correct?
No, this is gonna be cantilevered over what is now Fair Street, so
Okay.
that will close, and you'll be able to enter the parking garage from down below.
I see.
So
Okay,
Fair Street
great.
Extension from Schwank Drive will be
Yes.
the main entrance into the parking garage.
Beautiful.
Now,
Cool.
there will also be an
Keeps
entrance.
cars out of uptown. too.
Correct. There'll be an
Yeah.
entrance off of North Front Street to get into the garage, but the way to exit the garage will only be to Schwank Drive.
That's brilliant.
Entrance only up
So it
top.
should help
Brilliant.
the traffic flow.
You're explaining what we're going to get at the end of this project.
Sure.
And it was the parking garage, this 130
130 apartments,
apartments.
right? And that's important because those apartments not only, the rent for the apartments not only pay to subsidize building and operating this parking garage, but they'll bring new consumers to the uptown businesses that are there.
At least
now.
131 of them.
And hopefully more than one person lives in each
Hopefully,
apartment.
right,
So
right.
we should have probably 250 new customers.
New restaurant
Yeah, that's great.
patrons,
New
shopping
patrons, shopping
patrons.
patrons.
Absolutely.
You don't have to worry about DWI laws because you can
'Cause
walk.
you can
back,
walk home,
Bing,
yeah.
bang, boom.
And you know what's funny, the numbers do change a little. It is important to note, as the design changes, as we go through the approval process, the exact numbers,
Right.
may
Yeah,
go from
they're gonna-
129 to 131,
Right.
but it's,
They're going to morph a little
Exactly.
bit. Yeah.
So-
Talk about the April 10th public hearing process because we're getting down here. But I want to.
And the hotel. We forgot. We
forgot the
didn't hit the
hotel.
hotel.
Talk
Because
about the
that's even
hotel.
more.
We'll hit them both. So the hotel, the second and third floor of what was the Kingstonian Hotel and the current warehouse will be converted into 32-room boutique hotel.
Beautiful.
And so
Nice.
those will be really nice rooms. They'll help contribute to the tourist location that already exists with the Senate House, with the Senate Garage across the street, which brings lots of wonderful events here, and those people need a place to stay. We're not hugely in favor of bringing Airbnb in, but as far as the short-term rentals, the hotel provides that.
Right.
So that's
Right.
the hotel. Then as far as April 10th goes, so
Yes.
we're in the middle of our, the middle of our planning board approval process. And part of that, you're required to have a public hearing. The public needs to come out and have their thoughts heard. Good, bad, or indifferent, whether they support the project, don't support the project, have concerns, or are there to fully support it. April 10th is the date where the planning board.
Where will that happen?
That will happen at the city
City
council.
City Hall.
City Hall.
Yeah,
Right.
the city chamber.
You guys will be there.
it's 6
Oh, yeah.
o'clock, oh yeah.
Yep, we'll be there at 6 o'clock on the 10th.
I bet.
So they're going to have cardboard cutouts with a
So-
tape recorder.
It's an important part of the process. The public needs to be able to
You
be
need to
heard.
feel included
Needs
in
to
the
feel
process.
included, but we need supporters as well.
Yeah.
All too often,
Right.
good projects get stopped because
The naysayers.
the naysayers
Right.
come out in
Who are,
force.
who are always a
Right.
fractional minority.
Right.
of
But
the-
loud.
The vocal
yeah.
minority, and it's
Yeah.
funny, we've had, I mean, and the city's fully aware of it, because that's what started this. Again, the RFQ was done for a reason, because they know that the uptown merchants need a garage to
Right.
survive, right? It's
Yeah.
sustainability, keeping the people that are here profitable, and that's one thing we left out, we're, 250 is the number we use, could be 250, 300 consumers that are gonna be added to this uptown community. They're gonna eat
Right.
breakfast, lunch, and dinner,
Right.
support
Help
those
uptown
shops,
survive,
yes.
right.
And
Spend
then
money
the hotel
locally.
guests, those 32 rooms, so you figure
Where do you
there's
think they're
another
gonna
64
eat?
people
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
all the
They're
time.
gonna eat where they can walk.
Yeah, so,
Yeah,
so
exactly.
that's, the revitalization of that whole uptown. The buildings are being purchased by, out-of-town investors, and in some cases are sitting vacant now, which, we're hoping that, again, there's a lot of synergies with us and what these other folks are doing. I think we're gonna be able to make make it a little easier for them to rent those spaces out to profitable businesses.
Sure you are. It's
And-
gonna
and
drive
help
the
businesses
value
that
up,
are there.
the value of the surrounding
I'm a
area.
visitor to Kingston for the most part. I don't live here like you guys do, but when I come
You
up,
should, Joe.
maybe someday. But I come up for meetings and I see people that work in these buildings uptown have to come out and feed the meter, and they're
Oh,
keeping
isn't
their
that heartbreaking?
car.
Yeah.
Well, they're keeping their car right in front of the business that they're
Right.
trying to sell goods and services.
Right,
Now,
which
if those-
isn't the right
How
way
do
to do it.
customers, how do
Right,
customers
where do
get the-
customers park?
Yeah.
So now if the employees can park in the garage,
Sure.
and customers can park right in front of the shops are going to succeed more, and this is a win-win-win for everybody.
Yeah.
It
Can
is.
you
That's-
talk
that's
about
what I'm excited about
job
doing this work.
creation a little bit, since
Sure.
that's one of my areas that I'm very interested in?
Absolutely.
Norman staffing.
Thank you very much.
We anticipate that directly in our building, we're going to have between 60 and 70 full-time jobs
Wow.
working in our building. And then we anticipate that the spin-off will be approximately 30 to 40 more
Wow.
jobs.
As we say
Full-time. Those
in
are not
Italy,
construction.
holy cannoli.
Holy cannoli, that's
Those
over
are-
100 new jobs.
Those are new jobs.
Wowzer.
And,
That's great.
And in terms of sales revenue, this building will generate about $11 million a year in sales
Oh,
between rent and the ground floor commercial and the hotel rooms. And there'll be approximately $200,000 a year in total new taxes between sales tax, occupancy tax, and what we're going to be paying in property tax.
Yeah.
and when we see so many properties coming off the tax rolls, this is a property going on the tax
Yeah,
rolls,
this is
which
just-
is wonderful.
Right.
As they say,
A
this is
positive
a
revenue generator.
no-brainer. It's a no-brainer, Scott.
Well, it's a win-win-win, and I think what you said is significant. We need supporters to come to this meeting. It's
Right.
at 6 p.m. on
And-
Wednesday, April the 10th. Go ahead,
And
Bud.
no, and on our website, you'll see, there's quite a few, very diverse group of testimonials.
Good.
You know,
That's
it's
great.
stakeholders in Uptown and actually stakeholders in the city of Kingston, so.
Stakeholders in Ulster County.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
this
Yeah,
is.
we're all in this thing together.
affects-
Yeah,
We're all in
that's-
this together.
Yeah.
We'll succeed. Rising tide raises all boats.
You know,
And if you are a supporter of this project, please come out at 6 p.m.
it's important to be.
And learn more about it at kingstonianny.com. And in the word Kingstonian is Tony.
There's a
I
little
know,
shameless
I know.
self-promotion. No, there's no Scott in there? No. Wednesday, April the 10th, 6 p.m., Kingston City Hall. It's really, really, really important that you come out and let these gentlemen know how much you value what they're doing in your community. This is your community. We've chased a lot of business out of this town. Let's welcome some new business in. That's
Absolutely.
super important. And not just new business that's an unknown. The Jordan family and Herzogs have, I said this earlier, you probably weren't listening, but if you played baseball, or football in Kingston, the Jordan family helped you do that.
Yeah.
And we appreciate that. And the Bonura family is well known and well respected throughout your section. The Newburgh waterfront area, your dad's a
Poughkeepsie.
great guy.
Well, and they have a
what's
lot
going
of
on in
experience.
Poughkeepsie.
Yes,
And
yes.
you're
We didn't talk about
successful.
The hotel and
Yeah.
parking garage.
Give a
Go
list
ahead.
of your
Sure.
places,
So-
yeah.
Yeah.
Every component of this project I've built before, just not all at the same time.
Right.
So
So
we
this is
operate a
great.
225-room hotel in Poughkeepsie on top of a 225-car parking garage that we
Right.
had to buy from the city of Poughkeepsie because it wasn't maintained.
Because they failed.
Right.
Yeah.
So we're very familiar with a building on top of a parking garage. Apartments, I also built in the city of Poughkeepsie on top of a parking garage. Restaurants, we've operated many over the
Gazillion.
years. Right. So you talked about the Newburgh waterfront, Billy Joe's, the buildings in between Billy Joe's and
Blue
Blue
Point.
Point. Blue Point is ours. Anthony's Pier 9.
Love the fish in Blue Point.
Yeah.
Yeah, fresh fish. My dad goes and gets that fish every
From
the
New York
Hunts
City.
Point.
Yeah.
Yeah, Thursdays his fish.
Amazing.
So yesterday morning.
That's old
He
school
leaves, it's
Italiano,
old school.
man.
He leaves his house at 1
Yeah.
o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Takes a spreader,
Amazing.
drives down, picks out every piece of fish for all of our restaurants,
Right.
drives it back up, and that's the work ethic that I grew up with.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's just it's how we
Yeah,
are.
yeah. No, that's very good. So
That's wonderful.
let's mention it one more time because it's very important that supporters come out, not just the naysayers or the not in my
And
backyard
call
NIMBYs.
your alderman. Call your alderman, call your
Support.
county representative, and let them know, yes, we want this project in Uptown Kingston. This is important. If you try to do business or raise a family
County
here,
rep,
Who was the
aldermen,
older
school
person
board
there?
members.
Who's the alderman?
Doug Coop is the alderman
Okay,
in our
Doug
ward.
Coop. Please call Doug,
Yeah.
find him, call the city hall, find Doug, and tell him, yes, this is something we want.
Write a
This is
letter.
going to be great for our
Yeah.
community.
yeah, and show
All
up on
aspects.
6 p.m. Wednesday, April the 10th. Thank you, folks. We're trying to raise some money here to keep this show on the air.
Right.
To keep this station going, 331-1004. You can call after 9 o'clock and still make a donation.
You can. Yeah.
Um,
It's tax deductible according to whatever IRS
Yep.
says, but give the money, keep this show on the air.
It's important to everybody. It's important to hear about projects like this.
Right.
And speak to the owners and developers directly. Joe Bonura Jr., a pleasure to meet you. I've met your dad. He's a charming, delightful guy, but a no-nonsense guy.
He is a
Oh, a
no-nonsense
no-nonsense man.
That's-
And
Former Kingston resident too.
Yeah.
Oh, is he really?
yeah?
Yeah,
Good.
yeah. He and my mom, when they first got married, lived in Kingston.
Oh, that's cool. And Brad Jordan,
Thank you.
the Jordan family of
Yeah,
businesses
thanks.
in Kingston Plaza.
Well, you guys do.
Everything you do.
How long is your
Appreciate
dad?
you guys having us
Yeah, man.
on.
How long was your dad a Rotarian?
Oh,
he's-
jeez.
He
My
like
dad passed away last June. Yeah,
right,
he,
right. He was
long as
zillion
I can
years,
remember.
50,
Yeah.
50 years. I'm gonna say Kingston Rotarian.
Yeah.
Amazing guy.
My
Amazing
son
guy.
played football. We practiced on the field at Kingston Plaza. We wouldn't have been able to
Oh, yeah.
play and practice if it
Yeah.
wasn't for that.
Field.
Yep, and all of the many charitable organizations that you and your family support, and you and your family support as well.
Yeah. This is,
That's what makes a community. This is what builds a community, and that's what we're trying to do here.
Right. If this one doesn't go through, I'm moving to
I'm
Canada.
out, man. I'm going. Oh, that's what the.
I know. Forget that. Yeah.
We actually have a couple of people that actually
But-
said that.
By the way, we want to put a plug in for Color Page, Frank Campagna.
Yeah, he's done
Because-
it.
Spin the camera. Frank's over here videotaping this whole event.
He's a great community supporter
Yes,
as
he is.
well, and very involved in the Ulster County Italian American Foundation, amongst other great
Chamber of Commerce.
Chamber of Commerce organizations,
Yeah.
and that's what it takes. It takes people like the Campagnas, the Bonuras, the Jordans, to make all this this great place work.
It's been a
Thank
big
you
help
for.
to us.
That's great. Thank you for listening, folks. Thank you for your wonderful donations.
Lawrence, keep those-
them coming. God
Please.
bless you.
Yep.
God bless America. Lawrence,
God bless
take
Kingston
us-
Community Radio.
Yeah,
Whoa.
take us away.